Welcome to twoquestions.tv. My guest today is Dr. Robert Dawson, and we're talking about being happy. Welcome to twoquestions.tv. I'm Susan Baroncini-Moe. Joining me today is Dr. Robert Dawson, who graduated with an honors degree in psychology from the Australian National University, a master's degree in clinical psychology, and a PhD from the University of Melbourne, researching the comparative effectiveness of cognitive and behavior therapies. He's a member of the Specialist Clinical College of the Australian Psychological Society, and he's worked as a clinical psychologist for more than 40 years. He lives on the Sunshine Coast in Queensland. Hi, Dr. Dawson. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Susan. Thanks for inviting me.
I really enjoyed your book.
Thank you.
Oh, let's show the book. Let's show the book.
Okay.
How to be happy in spite of yourself. I forgot to mention that. Yes, viewers, he's the author of this book that we're talking about today. Okay, in the book, you talk about the fact that we are not meant to be happy all the time. In fact, you say there's a reason why happiness is temporary. So for the folks who are perhaps still waiting for their books to arrive, could you explain that a little bit?
Well, look, the reason is it's based on the concept that there's a lot that goes on for us as animals that we're not conscious of, a lot going on in our brain that we're not conscious of. And to understand that, anyone that's sort of been driving a car and had a sudden almost collision or near miss have realised afterwards, after that split second, that they've swerved or that they'd braked, and only afterwards realised what actually happened. Mm-hmm. So our brain is actually doing a lot for us that we're not aware of. It's unconscious or it's automatic.
Right.
Survival is one of the main things that our brain's doing for us all the time. It's constantly looking out for things that might hurt us. And when we get happy and contented and satisfied, we tend to let our guard down. Now, I'm talking about at an instinctive level. None of this is conscious. I'm not aware when I'm happy that I'm letting my guard down, but from an awareness perspective, I'm not quite as aware of what's going on around me when I'm contented. I mean, why would I be? I'm contented. I'm having a good time. I'm relaxed. And so our brain, or as a species, we've evolved in a way that we've discovered that we can't be in that relaxed, at ease state for too long because things can get at us. Mm-hmm. So our instinct uses emotions to influence us. So when we're excited, we're really focused on what we're doing. When we're relaxed, we're chilling out. When we're anxious, we're really paying attention to what's going on around us. So instinct uses emotions to focus our thoughts and our attention.
Mm-hmm. So in the book, you talk about a few ways that our viewers can, let's say, extend their moments of happiness. What are some of those ways?
Well, the first look, it's really, I actually think it's hugely important, and why I probably wrote this book is to get people over this idea that we're supposed to be happy all the time. And if we're not happy, then there's something wrong. And
right.
that idea makes us fret. It kind of makes us worry about the fact that we're worrying, or worry about the fact that we're not happy, or we're not content, or we're not satisfied. Mm-hmm. So the first probably really good idea is that when you're feeling a little bit out of sorts, that doesn't mean there's anything wrong. It means simply that your instinct is doing its job. Mm-hmm. Secondly, when you do get happy, it's really important not to try to stay that way, because we kind of think, oh well, I just got that award, or I got that new car, or I got that promotion, or I got that first date, or I've had my first child, and it's now X months, days past that event. How come I'm not as happy as I was yesterday or the day before? So if we have the idea that our moods are supposed to swing, they're supposed to go up and down, And almost if they're not going up and down, that there's something wrong. We're kind of kidding ourselves, or we've got our head in the sand if we're staying happy for too long. When we actually get distressed, if we see that as, hey, there's not something around me that's actually threatening. Well, actually, there could be a dinosaur that's about to eat me at the moment. But for most of us, when we get sort of dissatisfied or discontented, it could be in response to little things. Like, for example, our partner grumped at us when we got up this morning, or the boss didn't acknowledge the effort that we'd put in, or one of our kids complained all the way home from school and doesn't seem to appreciate the fact that we go out of our way to pick them up. And so in the big scheme of things, those events are quite small, but our mood can be affected by those things. And so when it does, we need to say, there's nothing wrong with my life. My instinct is simply reacting to what's going on at the moment. And I can get over this by just changing my attention or think something else. I've got this personal thing where when I find myself in situations where I know that my mood's swinging and I can't see any dinosaurs, I always check for dinosaurs when my mood swings, but when I can't see any, it's kind of like, well, you know, my instinct's going at it, and I start counting backwards, but from really big numbers. Like my favorite number is 783, and then it's 782, and I count inside my head, and I can also listen while I'm counting. You could be counting right now in your head and still follow everything that I'm saying, but that tiny bit of distraction takes your instinctive focus away from what you observe as, I'm not actually looking at you, I'm looking over your shoulder. And does that mean that I am not really interested in you? And what's wrong with me, or what's wrong with you? You know, do you know how our mind does this?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
And we're often wrong. I mean, we make these grand assumptions about other people's intentions and behaviors. And how often are we actually right about that?
Yes, well, almost never. But, you know, I joke about, I look around for dinosaurs. Our instinct is there for a really good reason. It's to keep us alive.
Yeah.
And when our mood swings, it could be because there is something quite significant or serious that's happening in that moment. But as you just said, most of the time, there isn't anything seriously happening. You know, when you speak to someone in a group and that person apparently ignores you and keeps talking to someone else, it doesn't mean they don't like you. It just means that they didn't hear you, they weren't interested in what you had to say, which doesn't mean they don't like you. It just means they're not interested in what you had to say at that moment, and so forth.
Yeah. Or their brain is busy in its own thing. And,
exactly.
You know, yeah. It's funny. I love the dinosaur. I may borrow that a little bit. I've known when my clients are overly anxious about things that has no true foundation. They're like, I don't know why I'm so anxious about this. I'm like, because we were created in a way that we were programmed to be afraid of bears. And so you just have to remember there's no bear there. But, you know, if you're camping in Colorado, there might be a bear there. So maybe dinosaur is a better choice.
Yes.
I think so.
Well, the scariest dinosaur for me is the raptors in Jurassic Park. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not promoting the movie, but to me, they're pretty scary because they're intelligent.
Yeah. Oh, I'm looking forward to that movie. Dr. Dawson, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
Would you like to do the after show?
Sure.
Awesome. Okay. Viewers, if you would like to join us on the after show, Dr. Dawson and I are going to head over to twoquestions.tv, the only place you can find the after show. So we'll see you over there. Now, in the meantime, here is the book. We're going to have links down below in the show notes so you can get your copy. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.